Classroom is obviously great for dealing with your whole class of students, but it can do more than that. It has some really brilliant features for kind of one-to-one interaction between you and one particular student. So any of those actions that you might take with your whole class, opening an app or locking a screen or anything like that, you can do with just one student, obviously. And there are a few little extras that allow interaction between you and one student. So let's have a look at what you can do sort of individually in Apple Classroom, including airplaying a student's screen.
Now, in addition to manipulating things as a whole class or in groups, you have options to interact with individuals simply by tapping on them, and you get pretty much the same options as you had before, with the addition of the Airplay option. The way the Airplay option works is if I as a teacher am not airplaying, because if I'm airplaying then I'm already occupying that Apple TV, so if I'm not airplaying, I can airplay somebody else's iPad. So I tap Airplay, I choose my room, I enter the code, and that student's screen will now display on the projector. It can be useful, for example, if you're doing presentations or whatever. Obviously the students can enter the code themselves, but in a kind of usual situation where you've got students presenting at the front, you're between groups, everybody's shuffling around, moving papers, etc., etc. You can just sort of switch the iPad to the projector for them, and it's another one of these marginal time gains to give you a bit more effective teaching time in your classroom rather than, faffing about time. So those are the options that you get when looking at one. Now, there's lots of ways that these things can be useful. Obviously, the ability to send students to a web page or an app is a great time saver. The ability to get their attention or watch their screens can be great behavior tools.
And the ability to airplay a student's iPad can be useful for classroom management. So that is interacting with just one student at a time using Apple Classroom. Hope it helps.